I'm Dr. Leonard Abbeduto. I'm a professor in the Department of Educational Psychology here at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I'm also the Associate Director for Behavioral Sciences at the Waisman Center and the Director of the University Center for Excellence on Developmental Disabilities, also at the Waisman Center. Well, one of my responsibilities at the Waisman Center is that I direct a service for researchers that's called the Research Participation Corps, and one of the functions of that service is to facilitate connections between families and researchers so that we can really conduct research, because most of our research depends on collaborations with families and families participating in research. And so we've developed registries in which we enroll families who are interested in helping in a whole variety of different types of research, and these registries allow us to contact them and give them information about research projects that they might be interested in. Even though Fragile X syndrome is the leading inherited cause of intellectual disabilities, it's quite infrequent in the general population. About 1 in 3,600 males has Fragile X syndrome, and 1 in about 4,000 to 6,000 females. And so it becomes difficult with a condition that occurs relatively infrequently to recruit families and to have the large numbers of participants that you need to do research. The collaborative registry that we're in the process of developing now really involves a collaboration between 2 intellectual and developmental disabilities research centers. The center at University of Wisconsin-Madison, the Waisman Center, and then the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, their center. However, that really is just the beginning. We've met with people at the National Institutes of Health. There are other intellectual and developmental disabilities research centers around the country, and we've also met with people at the CDC and the National Fragile X Foundation. And the hope is that even though we're starting small with this collaboration between 2 universities, that this will really grow and involve multiple sites across the country and really be a mechanism for facilitating research at many universities and many types of research. And so this really, again, this is really an attempt to develop a national registry that will really benefit a lot of researchers and, more importantly, a lot of families that are affected by Fragile X syndrome. One of the challenges for recruiting families into studies on Fragile X syndrome really has to do with reaching families that are perhaps in more rural areas or families that are perhaps lower income. And one of the reasons it's important to reach those families is when we do our studies, we want to make sure that we give all families the opportunity to participate in research, particularly if that research involves treatments. But I think more generally, we really want to make sure that the results of our studies generalize to everyone that's affected by Fragile X syndrome. So it's really important for us to reach out to families at all socioeconomic statuses, of all races and ethnicities. And that's a challenge, and I think that that's one of the things that we're going to put a lot of effort into in developing the collaborative registry. Well, at this point, the registry is really designed for anyone that's affected by Fragile X syndrome or related conditions. And so we hope to reach families all over the United States. And one of the things that we would like to get is maybe multiple generations of families, because we know that Fragile X syndrome doesn't just affect the children, but because it's an inherited condition, oftentimes other family members are affected. So, for example, a child with Fragile X syndrome may have a grandfather who has FAXTAS, a neurodegenerative disease that's caused by a mutation in the same gene that causes Fragile X syndrome. And so we really hope that we don't just enroll families with children, but that we really enroll entire families and multiple generations of those families into the registry, since I think that there is a host of studies that will be conducted in the near future to look at treatments for the full array of symptoms and conditions associated with the mutation that causes Fragile X syndrome.